Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. Well, that good feeling has kind of gone away at Oil Country for at least the time being. Following an 8-game winning streak, the boys are now on a 3-game losing streak, and we knew more changes were likely coming after last night's loss to the New York Islanders. Bob Stauffer posting this lineup from practice today with one big note that we'll go over more in a second. The top line features Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, and Zach Hyman reunited. Kane, Draisaitl, and Fogle on the second line. Janmark, McLeod, and Gagne on the third line. And Ernie, Hamlin, and Derek Ryan on the fourth line. You'll notice in the fifth row there, Connor Brown. He appears to be a healthy scratch for tomorrow night's game against the New Jersey Devils. We kind of figured this had to be coming at some point. Connor Brown has only registered 1 assist so far this season, 0 goals. The Oilers owe him $3.225 million next season as a cap penalty for pushing the cap this year. He's only making $775 this year. I was one that was really excited about getting Connor Brown in the summer. Less excited when I found out about how the contract was going to work, but even still, I thought Connor Brown would find a way to live up to that. Nothing so far this year, and I know he's coming back off an injury, so I've been trying to cut him some slack here, and he's done other things well for the Edmonton Oilers. He's been a good penalty killer, things like that, but at the end of the day, when you're taking up $4 million combined over 2 years, you got to put some pucks in the net, and as Jason Greger over at Sports 1440 pointed out today, Brown has not been going to the areas where he needs to score goals. He's been staying on the perimeter, staying on the outside, so it's no wonder that he hasn't scored yet. So this is a big move. I guess it's not completely official yet that he's a healthy scratch, so we'll see what comes out tomorrow, but at this point it's looking like Connor Brown will be scratched for tomorrow night's game. As we go through the rest of the lineup here, Darnell Nurse, Cody Ceci in the top pairing, Ekholm and Bouchard and Kulak and Desharnais in the third pairing, Gleason skating as the seventh defenseman, and it looks like my suspicion was correct that Calvin Pickard will get the start tomorrow night against the New Jersey Devils. Makes sense. Give Skinner a rest here. Pickard played really well against the Devils last week, so it's a back-to-back, so we can expect Skinner to get the start on Friday against the New York Rangers. So that's our look at the lineup for tomorrow night. Hopefully it can result in a winning lineup. The boys have 2 more games to go here before the Christmas break. With 2 wins, they can at least get back to 500 for the Christmas break. So that's my hope at this point, but we shall see what happens tomorrow night. Also of note, the NHL holiday roster freeze is now in effect. Came into effect last night, so no trades, no roster moves of any kind until Thursday, December 28th at 12:01 a.m. So we can turn off the trade watch for now, but there was some trade news last night I went over briefly in the Fanatic Rundown following the game. It looks like Philip Broberg is most likely going to be used as a sweetener in a Jack Campbell trade to try and get that deal finally done. And as far as a Jack Campbell trade goes, we're expecting something to happen goalie-wise for the Edmonton Oilers if at some point in January. It might be early January, it might be late January. With how the schedule works, the Oilers can probably get by with Skinner and Pickard through January, but come February, there's some back-to-backs, some harder teams, so the Oilers are going to want 2 goalies going strong here, and I don't think Skinner and Pickard is the answer. And to this point, Jack Campbell has definitely proven that he is not the answer either, unless he has some kind of dramatic turnaround here, which is possible. I think we do finally see a goalie trade at some point in January with Philip Broberg likely going in that deal. We know Elvis Merzlikins has been a hot topic of conversation. Karel Vejmelka out of Arizona, another possibility there. So I don't know which goalie, obviously, the Oilers are going to get, but there's a few options out there. Whether they can get a deal done, get Jack Campbell off the books, we shall see, but it looks like probably late January is when we finally see that trade, but I know most Oilers fans are hoping something happens sooner in the new year, but we know Ken Holland likes the patient approach, so he will likely take that come January. Jack Michaels posting today that the Oilers are playing their first back-to-back this season After Friday, 31 of their final 51 games will be against the bottom 15 teams in the league. Only 8 of the first 31 games have been against the lower half, so the schedule does favor the Oilers in that regard. Right now, they're 2 games below 500, like I mentioned, so any help they can get, whether it's who they play, if Ken Holland can bring in some guys here, there is hope here for this team despite their bad start, despite now being on a 3-game losing streak following that 8-game winning streak. So we'll see what happens, guys. Like I said, January should hopefully be a big month for this team for change. Whether anything happens with Connor Brown here going forward, does he possibly hit the waiver wire, go down to Bakersfield? Jack Campbell struggled. He went down. Could we see something similar happen with Connor Brown? It's not going to give the Oilers much cap relief this year because he's only worth $775,000. But if the Oilers can bring up somebody like maybe Raphael Lavoie to replace Connor Brown, does he have a bigger impact than Brown's been having? I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe he sits out tomorrow night, comes back, and has a huge game against the New York Rangers, and we're not even talking about it anymore. So we'll see what happens there, guys. But for now, that is all the latest on the Edmonton Oilers. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think Connor Brown should be sitting out? Which goalie do you want the Oilers to go after? Let me know in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.